Hey there, everyone. I hope you're well. If you're new here, welcome. And if you've been here before, it's great to see you again. So, as I record this, it's the 10th of August. And so we're starting to move into the mid-August shite show, if you want to call it that, where some of the astrology that really is a key feature of August, and not only August, the rest of 2024 really starts to heat up. So in this video, I really want to focus on the Mars-Jupiter conjunction, which happens on the 14th in the Northern Hemisphere. And if you're here in Australia, it's going to officially happen on the 15th. But as I speak, these two planets are already in range, 2 degrees of separation, and they will make that tight conjunction mid next week. So this is a pretty rare aspect. It happens only once every 2 years. And of course, if you have a planet or an angle at sort of 16, so anywhere, say between 14 to about 18 degrees of Gemini, you're really going to feel this one. And I think you will feel it also if you have Mars or Jupiter as your perfected planet for this solar year for you. So we do have this conjunction taking place. Excuse me. It also squares Saturn, and that will be a feature of the upcoming days as well. I won't talk too much about that in this video. I want to really just focus on Mars and Jupiter in particular. So one feature of this conjunction is that both Mars and Jupiter are looking to a Mercury retrograde for their guidance, for their input and intel. So this does suggest, at least at first glance, that much of this not Jupiter, Venus, Jupiter, Mars stuff is going to be maybe about going over old issues or redoing things. But sometimes the argument or the contest or the problems that can occur when you're going back over old stuff. Now, as this aspect builds, perfects, technically Mercury will be in Virgo. So not the worst version of a Mercury retrograde, but then as this aspect starts to separate and slightly die down, Mars will then square Saturn, and then Jupiter will square Saturn. And by that stage, Mercury will have moved back into Leo. So that's just a little something to keep in your pocket in terms of thinking about how to interpret this. So, but the primary area here is we're looking at Mars and Jupiter in Gemini. So as I said, if you've got planets, angles, what have you, around these particular degrees, you're going to be feeling it. This happens on my ascendant. So yeah. Now I just want to share a few kind of maybe bullet points or ideas as we move through these upcoming days. So the battle of opinion. And so we have Jupiter, that planet of opinion, of ideas, of perspective. And then, of course, Mars, which is the planet of battles, of defend and protect, and fighting for things. Um, you only have to have a look online, take a look at some of the global things that are taking place at the moment. There is a lot of battle of ideologies, battle of opinion. If I'm right, therefore you must be wrong. That real duality of this placement. Now, while Jupiter is probably very keen and very invested into exploring the facts, exploring a range of possibilities, and really open to getting more information, getting more data, or getting collecting ideas. Mars, however, being the malefic out of these two planets, is more interested in the fight. It's more interested in the win, or even defending or protecting whatever Jupiter is representing in a particular situation. Obviously, there's real things in the world going on as well, but a lot of these battles I see are also being taken out online. And that's a big part of the collective, what we're in right now, the air element, and a lot of the crackdowns that I'm seeing taking place about opinions or sharing the ideas, there's that sort of martial approach to it. How dare you have an opinion or think outside of the box? So, there might be also a situation in your personal life where you really just have to defend your perspective, defend your ideas, defend what you believe is true, or defend what the facts are. Now, a lot of the arguments that I'm observing out there are often very opinion based or emotive as opposed to being fact driven. Have you ever had anyone online disagree with you and then not knowing who you are, not knowing what your life experience is, or the things you've learned, the places you've been, or even who you are outside to what you present online? I really, it cracks me up every time someone tells me to go educate myself. Really, that's just kind of a digital slur nowadays that says you don't agree with me, so I'm going to shut down all thought, all ideas, or all opinions that I don't agree with. So, that I think is a very a slur on the digital space, which, I think you could probably see plenty of as we move into this area. It's this idea of I'm just going to cut away discussion, I'm going to cut away the exploration of ideas by telling you you need more education. You can get that from TikTok. Another idea with this particular aspect together is something that's really served me well over the years is your opinion of me is none of my business. And I think that can be a very, very important thing. It's really easy to get pulled in by not being liked. It's very easy to buy into other people's ideas and opinions of you. We see this again in the digital space. You sort of do have to develop a bit of thick skin to put yourself out there. And people will come at you if they want. They can come at you in real life as well. And I do see this often, and not necessarily personally, but you see it out there. And I also see it when I say personally. It's a lesson I find myself teaching my son. If he gets upset about something that someone has said to him, so do you care about this person? No. Does their opinion matter to you? No. So why are you upset about it? So there is something really powerful in just being able to cut away opinions and perspectives that aren't necessarily your business. The essence of Gemini is very good at just going next and moving on to the next thing. So if somebody is saying something to you that is getting a little under your skin, you could either defend it and attack back, or just cut, sever, and move on. Which ultimately, particularly if you don't care about the person nor their perspectives, if you wouldn't take advice from them, why does their opinion matter? Now, what I do like about these two planets coming together, it's really exciting and it's really enthusiastic. And sometimes when somebody does get, a little bit hot-headed, a little bit opinionated through excitement, you see this out of a newly minted uni student, right? They've been through uni and they're really excited to share their ideas, all the things that they've learned. And you see this in anything that you've learned that's new. You're very excited to share. And so when Jupiter and Mars come together, it's really important to, not cut someone down, the tall poppy syndrome, what we would call that in Australia. And I believe a similar idea in the US, the expression is the crab in a pot. When someone's trying to elevate their education, or if someone's trying to explore new perspectives, if they're trying to self develop or experience the other side of a particular issue, it's very easy to cut somebody down. Whereas Mars would want to do that, but Mars can also be that the cheer squad, the fan club, yeah, you go girl kind of thing. So you might need to also be cautious, use words to uplift and inspire and light someone else's flame. or fan their flame, whatever that phrase is, and just really support them. Be their biggest fan, and let them go at it. So rather than cut down others, which Mars and Gemini, some of my favorite people to listen to actually have Mars in Gemini, and the combination of Mars and Gemini, and then you add Jupiter to that, you would not want to be in an argument in the next couple of days, nor would you want to be in an argument with someone with Mars and Gemini. And if they happen to have Jupiter in the mix, that's a pretty potent punch. Um, the articulation of words, the nasty gram, the acid tongue, those kind of ideas can be really, really potent. So, sometimes we can say things to other people that aren't meant to be like a cut down, because sometimes, the truth hurts. And that comes, as another point that I wanted to share. And in this day and age, people don't like the truth. They like to be in tune with their feelings, and their feelings are the guidepost of everything. And while, in some situations that's really valid, in other situations it's not. So I think with this particular aspect coming up, the facts, Gemini, is really going to be important. Our feelings are not going to really get you forward. So if you find yourself in a clash, if you find yourself in an argument with someone, if you're pulling out the feelings card, be prepared that the truth will hurt. And this is sometimes what is required, and it never feels nice. And it was a lesson hard won by myself. Someone who can call your bullshit, someone who can be really truthful to you, even if it hurts you, is usually the person that loves you. The person who is there in your feelings and validating, every little whim of feeling that you have, chances are they may not necessarily be on your team. And so there is sometimes, when you think about a goal or a far-reaching desire that you have, something that's big like Jupiter, sometimes you just have to put your feelings to the side and execute. Execute the goal, the mission, the plan. So I was having a WhatsApp chat with a friend today, and she was asking me a lot of questions about training, diet, and there's just the things that I do and I've done over the years. And in order to get a result, sometimes you just have to sever your feelings about however it feels to go to the gym at ridiculous hours of the day or eat in a certain way. Because if you want to reach a goal, sometimes your feelings don't care about your goals. So the idea of that unbridled enthusiasm, chasing a desire, going for something, and sometimes being a little bit one-eyed about it. In Gemini, that may be a little bit difficult, but this can also help you to cut away the older ideas that might be holding you back from any particular desire, goal, or ambition that you have. Look to your Gemini house. Is there a particular desire that you have in that area of life? Is there something that you've really been looking forward to with Jupiter coming into this area? Because, of course, that's a once in every 12-year event. And you're thinking, okay, well, what do I have to do to kind of make it rain in my Gemini area of life? And you might have to cut some stuff away, the old self-talk, the old ideas, the old perspectives, the old truths that just don't really cut it for you anymore. And maybe you have to also take on some others. And in order to do that, we get a different version of Mars. We get the courageous Mars, the brave Mars, the kind of Mars that can take on the new information on board and then sort of reinvent or recreate a perspective, to do a 180, because you've cut away old ideas, open your mind, and grabbed a new perspective. So it can be such a powerful mind opener, this particular transit. There's also another factor that I've just noticed over the last, I don't know, 36 hours or so, over on X, Twitter, is the idea of and you'll know what I'm talking about, I'm sure, without saying it too obviously, the idea that there is a little northern island area of the planet where there's a lot of, appears to be a lot of two-tier policing. So we've got the idea of law, ethics, morality, Jupiter in a sign that has duality, that has two sides. And then we have Mars, this would be police, military, any kind of sharp implements, anything that symbolizes aggression. So we're seeing things happen in various parts of the world of that nature. And so what this can also bring is this sort of swift or knee-jerk, like a Mars sudden move to cut away certain ethics or certain morals or certain truths um, in order to sort of manipulate or change things. So it is it can be a very messy transit when we're trying to get to a perspective or a place that's going to suit the majority. So that's just a little sidebar to be really mindful of that as we move forward. And also being aware of how you may be contributing to that in the online space, and whether you do or you don't as such, but we all see it, we all read it, we all take it on board energetically. So I do think that as a little sidebar from Mars, Jupiter in particular, just the whole mess and the whole craziness of this particular timeline that we're on, digital hygiene are going to be really helpful. So this might be about cutting away or reducing down how much time you spend online, how much noise. With Mars, we really want to cut back, refine, where we're putting our energy and attention, and what ideas are coming into our mind and expanding or shaping what is true. So the duality of Gemini can be a trickster. Now, because Mercury is retrograde, it just adds an extra level of complexity to the mix. However, moving back into Leo, it's going to be important to think about, okay, well, what's sovereign? What is true in my heart? Getting back down into that primary, primordial space. And because the mind can play tricks on you, right? But what is in the heart, not so much. So this will be something that we'll really get to practice with Mars and Jupiter. Then Mercury moving back into Leo, and then it will make its superior conjunction with the Sun on the 18th, and that's probably going to be the 19th in Australia. And so when the inferior conjunction of Mercury happens, it's the retrograde phase. And so it's almost like the mind and the heart coming together, reconnecting, reuniting, and in the solar sign of Leo. And so this is going to be, hand on heart stuff and leading from the truth, the honor, the ethics and integrity of what Jupiter really symbolizes. So it's going to be a massive week for sure. So I hope it's exciting for you at least. And I hope this video has helped you navigate it, look for some various possibilities and what you might see or experience out there. If you've got any comments or things you'd like to add, please feel free to leave them below. I also have an upcoming webinar on Neptune and Pisces. Neptune and Aries. I've been only saying Neptune and Pisces for the last 14 years. It's going to take a little while to lock Aries in. So that happens at the end of the month. I'll pop a link below where you can learn more about that. It's just going to be a little bit more of a casual talk as opposed to a more formal webinar style. We'll have plenty of Q&A at the end because it is going to take a while for astrologers in general to really think about and meditate what this cycle will look like, because none of us have lived through it before. So that's some of the stuff that we're going to do in the webinar. And of course, for deep dives in the astrology, every month, the Golden Circle is the place to do that. So that's my astrology membership, where I share all my best ideas and thoughts and insights around the astrology. There's a monthly overview video, weekly videos, Q&As, resources, all the things. So best of luck with Mars Jupiter, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.